Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is Friday, November 1st, 2013. And hope everybody had a good Halloween last night. I know I did. Had a great time. Just did a lot of crazy stuff. In this episode, we'll talk about what to watch for this week in college football and the NFL with some key games coming up for both. Also, crazy ending last night in the Dolphins-Bengals game, which made history. Make sure you listen to that later on. And also, again, the Dolphins, they ruined rookie hazing. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And also, the NBA had a great start these past two nights with Chris Paul doing some amazing things. But go ahead and start talking about the college football and with some news that's been going on with some rumors. Ohio State's athletic director, Gene Smith, has denied interest and also denied any interview processing going on in the athletic director position with the University of Texas. He's been at Ohio State for 9 years now, and he's saying that he's proud of being at Ohio State and go Bucks and all this other stuff on his Twitter that he's been putting up. So it doesn't look like he's going, and I really hope he doesn't. I hope Texas has to get the worst athletic director, whoever that may be. I don't want anybody getting going there that's good. And I know there's also been Oliver Luck, who is at West Virginia, who is being talked about going to Texas to be their new athletic director. Also, South Carolina quarterback Connor Shaw, I thought I flipped that for a minute, returned to practice after having a virus over the past few weeks, and his game time decision tomorrow versus Mississippi State. But it does look like he will start. Coaches said that he was looking pretty good, that he should be able to go. Didn't take all the snaps during practice, but obviously that's just safety precaution and should be ready to go against Mississippi State. Florida Atlantic head coach Carl Pelini, the brother of Nebraska's head coach Bo Pelini, and defensive coordinator Pete Rextis, something like that, resigned, which is just a fancy word for fired, because they were at a social event where marijuana was used. So apparently they were smoking marijuana at a get-together, and where they resigned, but in other words, when they met with the president of the university, they were just basically fired. But they want to sweet talk it a little bit, make it seem like they're taking responsibility and saying, "Hey, we're quitting," or resigned, whatever. But they weren't even that good, anyways. The head coach Carl Pelini was 5-15 in 2 years at Florida Atlantic, and was started off 2-6 this year. So does it really make a difference? No, but it is pretty shocking to see a head coach and coaches, pretty big names for Pelini. You carry that name with his brother having some issues at Nebraska. Saying that the fan, said all this crazy stuff about the fans at Nebraska, and now his brother gets resigned or fired for smoking marijuana. What a great example to send to your not only your athletes but the student body. Just great example. Florida Gators again just dealing with injuries. They lost their left tackle DJ Humphries, who will be out for 2 to 4 weeks with a sprained MCL, and that's going to hurt them for these weeks because they've already had some injuries going on, and that doesn't help. Also, the NCAA has now added 5 new rules for recruiting purposes. Here they are: allowing football players to participate in 8 hours per week of required weight training and conditioning. Up to 2 of those 8 hours can consist of film review. Also, prohibiting school staff members from attending all-star games or activities associated with those games. That's a little, I don't know, too much. Establishing an extended dead period when no in-person recruiting can take place in December and January for 2013-2014. So it would be December 16th through January 15th is now a dead period. Also establishing a 14-day dead period in late June and early July for FBS schools, and also allowing schools to pay for meals up to 4 family members who accompany a recruit on an official visit. And that's basically it. So those rules are okay. Don't really like prohibiting school staff members from attending all-star games or activities associated with those games. I think, I don't know. I feel like that shouldn't happen. I feel like they should be able to go to see those games for recruiting purposes. So I think you take that one out, then the others are okay, because those are just dead periods where you just can't talk to them. So it's not a huge thing because you're already talking to them, from the off season there and forward. So those aren't really going to hurt that much. I think that 14 dead period for the late June and early July might, because of signing day, or actually that's before. Never mind. So those would be okay. That's not going to hurt anybody with those. And I believe, let me check. Let me scroll down. That was all the news for college football. It really hasn't been. It's been a dead week, and mainly because there's only one key game this week. Now, I thought Oregon and Stanford play this week, but they don't. It's next week. I've been off on my timing this past. Last week I was talking about college basketball starting. I was talking about NBA starting, when it all didn't even happen until this week and next week. So timing has been off, but I got it down now. ESPN, they screwed me on their website, so I wasn't reading right. But now I got it. And what to watch for this week in college football? There's only one main game you should watch. The rest are kind of just, if you're bored and there's nothing else to do, you watch this. But the first game, and it's on Saturday night, ABC, that's right, yes it is. Number 7 Miami takes on number 3 Florida State University, and what a game. This is way back in the days. This is even before my time, when these two teams were just ranked up high multiple years and always played each other. And finally, maybe this is coming back. Now, I don't think Miami should be a top 10 team. I think when they struggled against Wake Forest, they should have dropped a little bit. But they didn't. They all, because of other people dropping, they went up. And so they're probably the worst top 10 team. But I'm not saying they're a bad team. I just don't think, they're a top 10 team, if that makes sense. They're a top 15 team, is basically what I'm saying. But they do take on Florida State, who's just been on a roll, just like Alabama. Just both offensively, defensively, they have just dominated everybody they have played. And I think that's how this game is going to go. I think maybe the first half might be a close game. We might even see a tie in the first half, or Florida State up by maybe 3 to 7 points in the first half. But I think Florida State starts escaping and might make this a blowout in a way, because I don't think Miami their defense can withstand Florida State's offense, in the second half. I don't see it happening, and I think Florida State's defense can stop Miami's offense, because I think they're going to confuse Stephen Morris at the quarterback position. They're going to confuse him with different coverages, bringing some weird type blitzes at him just to really shake him up in the first half and not really be thinking straight in the second half. I still think Duke Johnson does some work and tries to help out, catching and running the ball. I don't see him going over 100 yards. I think maybe 70, maybe 85 yards, around that. So basically, and there you go with the basically again. Oh, wow. Anyways, Florida State, I do see them getting the victory 35-17. So I think maybe 20-17 at halftime, and then after that it's just all Florida State. And we'll just have to see. But that is the game of the week. Must watch. Must watch. And, of course, guess what? I worked that night. So hopefully on my break I'll be able to see part of the game. Anyway, so the second game, what to watch for, is number 18 Oklahoma State on the road at number 15 Texas Tech. Now, a lot of people are questioning Oklahoma State because the past few weeks offensively has just been a huge drop since the beginning of the year. Defensively, they're still very solid, and I think they are going to be able to stop Texas Tech. Now, I don't think they stop them too much, but I do see Oklahoma State getting their offense rolling, especially against Texas Tech defense, not the best. So I do see Oklahoma State getting the victory 35-34 Very close game. Might even go overtime. Third game, what to watch for is they're not ranked, but Mississippi State at number 14, South Carolina. With Connor Shaw back there, might be a little shaky in the first quarter, but I think starts getting it going. Final score 24-17. Tennessee at number 9, Missouri. Now, Tennessee has been in some games. They've played some tough teams this year. I mean, you're already playing SEC schools, and they went on the road to play Oregon as well, which wasn't close, and I was hoping it would be. But they've played some tough teams, and this might actually make them better. Now, I know their quarterback, I think he is out for probably the rest of the year. I know he's out for the next 2 weeks, so that's going to hurt them a little bit. And especially being on the road at Missouri, and Missouri fans have just been crazy with how they just beginning of the year. I don't think anybody thought Missouri was going to be undefeated and top ranked, and now it seems like the stands of the fans have just gone skyrocketed, and there's just been crazy fans, crazy atmosphere. But I do see Tennessee getting no, I don't. Wow, I'm lying to myself. Unbelievable. Missouri gets the win 27-21, but I could see Tennessee taking it. Just depending on how the backup quarterback does. And the last game, number 21, Michigan on the road at number 22, Michigan State. Now, Michigan State's defense is incredibly awesome. They've recruited well. They get guys that are like 6'7" at the defensive line and just play outstanding. No one ever talks about their defense. It's so crazy how they always talk about Alabama's defense. They talk about Stanford's defense when Michigan State has a better stats overall defensively. So this is going to be a tough game, very low scoring game, very, very low scoring game. And it sucks for Michigan State because even though they're only 7-1, which is a very good record, their offense is very bad. I mean, they have no playmakers on the offensive side, and I think they would easily compete with Ohio State if they had an offense, But without an offense, it's hard for their defense to, continue to stop teams. So this game comes down to outscoring Michigan. And their defense has Michigan State's defense has the players to stop Michigan, but can they do it, every possession, every down, and especially late in the games if your offense is not really getting anything or not getting any, getting field goals but not getting touchdowns. That's what I'm saying. So I do see Michigan State getting the win. Again, a very low-scoring game, 17-14 final score. And also tonight, USC is on the road at Oregon State, and apparently Oregon State's offense is crazy good this year with their passing game. It will be 6 p.m. Pacific time on ESPN. Make sure you go check that out. And I know I will because that game will be awesome. And we'll have to see how the defense, if they improved for USC tonight. So NFL, switching over now. Again, college football this week is just it's very low. There's nothing too much to talk about other than the Miami-Florida State game. But NFL had some crazy things going on last night on Halloween, and of course it'd be on Halloween night. The Bengals. So Andy Dalton, last week he threw for five touchdowns and over 300 yards, and I don't even think you threw an interception. You had a great game, and I benched you on my fantasy team because I decided to put Brady up there. This week, I said, you're going against the Dolphins defense. Might be a little bit tough, but it seems like you got things clicking right now. Excuse me. It seems like you got things clicking. I'm going to start you over Tom Brady. And you go 32 for 53, which that doesn't matter for fantasy. But 338 yards, awesome. Threw for a whole lot of yards. 0 touchdowns, that kills me. And what kills me even worse, but just it ends me right here, is 3 interceptions. How can you do that to me, man? I put so much faith into you. And watch Brady throw for 5 touchdowns. Unbelievable. So Dalton had a bad game, but that's not the history thing. That's not the weird thing that happened. What happened last night was the Bengals forced overtime with a comeback, make it 20-20. Then early in the game, Early in overtime, they have a possession, and they're on their own 8-yard line. It's 3rd and 10. And Cameron Wake comes up the middle, sacks Andy Dalton in the end zone, gets the safety. Final score, 22-20, game over. Like that. And Cameron Wake gets his jersey and his helmet, and I think even the football in frames. And I want to say they put it in the Hall of Fame, because when certain things happen, they put stuff in the Hall of Fame. Doesn't mean the player's going into the Hall of Fame. It just means because it was a history, a record-setting thing. Because that was the third. Where did I write it down? There it is. Only the third time in overtime. Okay, let's make sure we're serious. It's the third time in overtime has ended by a safety. And so, that was record-breaking. We haven't seen that. I don't know. I think way back in the days when it happened. I don't really remember. I didn't check what year it happened. So he gets that, and because they're Hall of Fame's in Ohio, I think they shipped it up there. I don't know. I saw a picture on Instagram. Pretty sure it was there. But Dolphins just, I don't know how you did it. I don't know how Dolphins do it. Their defense is actually pretty good this year. I underestimated them. Lamar Miller, running back for the Dolphins, 16 carries, 105 yards, including a 41-yard run. 0 touchdowns, though. Surprised me. I thought he would get a touchdown. And some bad news for the Cincinnati Bengals. They lost their defensive tackle, a stud, not a Hall of Famer, but a Pro Bowl. He would have gone to the Pro Bowl, just a great player, and he's very young. Geno Atkins tore his ACL and is out for the year. They haven't officially said that, but there has been sources saying that it was a torn ACL and is out for the year, and that sucks because that really hurts the Bengals defense. That even though they are pretty solid defensively, I feel like the NFL gives them a little too much credit. I don't think they're that good because their secondary is lacking a lot. They give up a lot of plays, so losing him is going to let teams just run up the middle on them, and that's going to hurt them. Especially they've been having linebacker issues. Not a good thing for the Bengals. But the Dolphins, like I said in the beginning of the show, they have ruined rookie hazing. Now, every year, rookies come in, whether you're the first pick in the draft or you're the last pick in the draft. Whether you're a free agent or drafted. Either way, you're a rookie, you get messed with. And it's not like a bad thing. It's just something you got to expect, and it's something that just happens, and it's all for fun. It's nothing bad. It's all for fun. But, I guess you really need to know that person before you actually do something, because this is what happened. The Miami Dolphins offensive lineman, Jonathan Martin, it was lunchtime. He sat with the team. They have their lunchroom, and they, sat with the team, had his lunch, was about to eat, and then right when he sat down, the entire team got up and left. Now, I don't know if it was, well, I shouldn't say the entire team because I don't know how many players. I don't know if it was exactly the entire team or it was just a few amount of players. Anyways, at a table, players got up. It was multiple players got up, left him, and that just set him off. That set off Jonathan. Jonathan got very upset, threw his plate to either straight on the ground or he threw it across the room and just left the team. Just left. And people were like, what just happened? Is he fooling us? Did we? And apparently this has been going on for a while. They had been messing with him, joking on him. And I guess some players just can't take it. Now, we all come from different backgrounds, but he didn't take it the right way. But again, he could have. The team said that he was going through some stuff already. He already had some problems going on, some stress in his life. So he is receiving personal assistance, and is on medical illness or non-football medical illness, something like that. But Dolphins, watch Roger, and I want to come on the show and say it before it happens. Watch Roger Goodell come out and say no more hazing anymore or something like that, because he's going to do something stupid. He's already ruined football. He's going to do something to even ruin it more. And it sucks because that's always funny to watch some of the things they have to do, like when football players have to stand up on the table and like sing their alma mater, or throw them in an ice one of those tubs that's full of ice and they throw them in there or something. It's funny to watch and it's all in good joy, but sometimes some players can't take it or take it the wrong way. So I have a feeling Roger Goodell is going to find the team and do all this stupid stuff. It may not happen. It shouldn't happen, but I just want to go on record saying if it does happen, you heard it here first. 49ers activated linebacker Aldon Smith and is expected to play November 10th against the Carolina Panthers. Had his own personal issues with alcohol related, and also did he have like possession of a gun or something like that? So, yeah, he's got 38 sacks and he's only been in the league for 2 years? It's incredible. Just 38 sacks already. Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Roddy White returned to practice this week. They say he's uncertain to play this week, but for any fantasy people out there, I do believe he will start. I think it's a must for the Falcons because losing Julio Jones for the year, they don't have any targets. And even though Roddy White hasn't really played that well, I think he's had like 14 catches, 185 yards, and no touchdowns so far. I think you should start him depending on who your receivers are. I know I would because I have a feeling he will play. And I forgot who they're going against. That's great. I didn't write it down. Crap. Either way, I'd start him. So if you got him, start him. Unless you have really studs. If you have a whole lot of studs at your wide receiver position, then I wait on him. Now, does anybody remember defensive tackle Albert Haynesworth? Does anybody remember he was at Tennessee? He was really good, and then he went to Washington, signed that $100 million guaranteed contract, and just pooped and just was terrible. Well, this is what Mike Shanahan, someone brought it up. Mike Shanahan had to say this, quote, "When you don't get along with somebody as a head coach or an assistant coach, it usually falls under one of those couple areas: lazy, lack of passion, and a lot of times lack of character." And he fits all three, unquote. Wow. What a shot. I mean, it's true, though, because Albert Haynesworth would just... what a guy who had so much potential and just said, screw it, I got my money, I'm done, I don't care, blah, 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 and did all that. So I think what he said was true. I don't know why they brought it up because it's old now. I mean, forget about him. I don't think he's not even playing anymore. What's the point of bringing it up? But someone did, and Mike Shanahan came up with the great quote right there to say that because that is absolutely true. And for any young football players, learn from that because, boom, just like that, people hate you. So what to watch for this week in NFL, and there's a whole lot more better games than there are in college football this week. First game, what to watch for, and I might be a little bit biased for this one, but my San Diego Chargers on the road at Washington Redskins, or Bravehearts, whatever they're going to change their name to now. Chargers, awesome. I'm going for you guys. Somehow the NFL is giving us the Chargers a lot of credit. It seems like it's back in the old days when we finally made all those playoff runs. They're actually saying we can make the playoffs and we're doing good. And I was like, oh, sweet. I'm expecting like, no, we're terrible. They think we're good. That's awesome because then that's going to make me feel like we're good. Anyways, Chargers, do I see them winning the game? Absolutely not. But am I going to root for them to win the game? Heck yeah. See the Chargers hopefully winning 24-21, but the defensive is bad for the Chargers. We have one of the worst secondaries in the league, and I don't know how we're going to do against Robert Griffin. I don't know if we're any good at stopping him, when he's running the ball. We've never played him, and I don't remember the last time. Well, we played Terrell Pryor, and he threw for almost like 300 yards on us. So what is RG3 going to do, So we'll have to see, but I wouldn't be surprised if Redskins get the win. Second game, Kansas City Chiefs on the road at Buffalo. And shocker right here. Buffalo Bills. No one circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills. And I'm saying the Buffalo Bills hand the Kansas City Chiefs their first loss of the year. Kansas City drops to 8-1. I think Buffalo gets the victory. EJ Manuel has a great game. 30-28 against, even though it's the Kansas City Chiefs, I know their defense is really good. I know it, but I'm saying Buffalo does it. You heard it here first. 30-28 final score. Buffalo gets the victory. Number 3 game, what to watch for, Indianapolis Colts Colts. Did I say that right? Colts on the road at the Houston Texans, Sunday Night Football. And I think the Colts got this in the bag, but I hope Case Keenum does really good, who will get the start for the Texans this week. 35-24, and Matt Schaub is on the bench and will be ready to go if Case Keenum got hurt or just threw another pick six. Ta-da! Nope. Okay. All right. Fourth game, what to watch for? Minnesota Vikings on the road at the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I know my family member, my cousin, he's going to be there along with some friends. We'll be at the game. So you get to see Adrian Peterson. That's going to be really cool. Too bad you'll see a lack of passing offense on the Vikings. And I think this game will be somewhat close. Hopefully DeMarco Murray does play because I need DeMarco Murray on my fantasy team. But I think final score 21-17. Cowboys do get the victory. New Orleans Saints on the road at the New York Jets. Really New Jersey, but whatever. Saints, there's no stopping them. There's no stopping the Saints offensively, defensively. Awesome team. 35-14 final score. Saints get the victory. And I'm going to go ahead and just say this on just prediction-wise. We'll talk about it more once it's actually playoff time. But I do think Saints will be the first seed in the NFC, and the second seed will be the Seattle Seahawks, and possibly that will be the NFC Championship this year. Just wanted to say that. I don't know why. Had to get that out. And I decided to do something different with what to watch right now. I didn't do it with college football just because there was only one really good game, and I want to do it when there's multiple good games happening. So, bold prediction, and I'll do this every week for the NFL and hopefully every week for college football now. Bold prediction section, and basically what that is just what it says, bold prediction, where I'm going to go out on a limb, I'm going to say something that might sound crazy in hopes that it actually happens and works. Raiders quarterback Terrell Pryor is going against the Philadelphia Eagles. They are on the road, but I think Terrell Pryor, this is going on a limb, throws for more than 400 yards, and runs for more than 100 yards, and has 6 total touchdowns. That is my bold prediction right there. You heard it first. So if it happens, I'm going to be ecstatic, and I feel like everybody should just follow my show on Spreaker.com and also on YouTube.com if you want to listen to that. Make sure you like and subscribe. Self-plug. But that is my bold prediction, and because the Eagles secondary and total defense is just garbage, absolutely terrible. And I think Terrell Pryor could do it. So we'll just have to see. And like I said, the NBA action happened last night with Chris Paul. Wow. You couldn't do this against the Lakers, but you could do this against Golden State. Scored 42 points to lead the LA Clippers over the Golden State Warriors. Final score 126-115, and that's a basketball game that I like to watch. High scoring, 100-plus points for each team, back and forth, intense craziness. That is what I want to see in a basketball game, and that is what we got with Chris Paul doing that. And then Derrick Rose, who now it's still early. They've only played 2 games so far. For certain teams, they've only played 2 games. Some have played just 1. Derrick Rose has played 2. He's played against the Heat, and now has played against the New York Knicks. Nets, really? New York Knicks. Now, I don't think he's fully there. I think he's he might be there. He's just struggling. It seems like he's just bad because he's not shooting at a very high percentage. But did get the game-winning shot against the New York Knicks. Final score was 82-81, and I think he only had 8 points or something like that, maybe 12. And Derrick Rose has just been struggling. But I mean, I guess if you go 0 for 100 throughout the entire game, but you get the game-winning shot, I guess that's all that matters, right? So that shows how much I know. And also the Spurs, they take on the Lakers tonight on the road. Oh, man, I almost said it. I would have looked dumb. I almost said against Kobe Bryant, but Kobe Bryant's not playing yet. Does anybody know when Kobe Bryant's going to play? Because I want to see Kobe Bryant. I just don't know. And that's basically it for the show, guys. We finished just on time. Got 20 seconds left. So next show will be next Monday, or this upcoming Monday. I don't know which way to call it. 9 a.m. Pacific time. So 9 o'clock Pacific time in the morning. Also, make sure you follow me on Spreaker.com if you enjoyed the show. Also on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, all the other good stuff. I want to hear what your guys' opinions are about other games and maybe your bold predictions. I'm all out of time. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, The Short Sports Show, and on Twitter at @short_sports 24-7. And I finished. See you guys next Monday.